All right, everybody, let's get right to it. How's it going on a Tuesday? Welcome back for the week. Jeez, let's get it together, Scott. Get on over to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member. It's all free to begin right there, basic members page. Get the software, HPC at sr-analyst.com. That's what we're working on. That's what we're going to talk about today, and a lot to get to. What's going on? Yeah, we got to talk about the Fed. Fed up with the Fed, fed up with harmonic patterns. Today, let's get to that. Great to see everyone. The obvious. Let's get over to our funnest, most fun market. Crypto, Bitcoin. Although that's not Bitcoin, that's Filecoin. One of many, many daily patterns that on this last collapse, setting up huge type ones. A lot going on, a lot to get to, settle on in. What's going on? Let's jump to Bitcoin. Let's go there. What's going on with this asset? You know, it's been not that long. Just taking our time with Bitcoin. It's all about the 4-hour chart. Okay, we broke down. We talked about that last week because that was the big flex we wanted to see. We got the T2. What's the problem? What's the problem, folks? Well, there's no confirmation yet. And we decided to do a looping T2. Great to see everyone. Let's get to it. I don't know if, hey, Dustin, if you've got, or Miss Stephanie, if you guys have access to the Twitter, do me a favor. Post it on Twitter for me. Would appreciate it. Markets all over the place in the last week. It seems like the floor is falling out. I think it's just because we've all been so pumped, been on such a run for 6 months that any little pullback feels like devastation. But we're not surprised to see this. I just don't think that the closet cleaning in the T coins was anticipated to the degree to which it did. But I will get to that in a second. And Fetch AI is really the poster child on not taking profits. I talked about that last time. But we'll get to it. What can we expect for Bitcoin right now at 62K? Well, it's 61. It's 61.4. There's a few patterns here. Okay, but it's more about that retest on the T2. 4-hour patterns, daily oversold. Tell me what we have. Tell me what we have here. Well, we have an HSI oversold. So it's really clear what we need to do down here. You're back at the 61K. There are other things here. Okay, you want to hold up there 60,700. That's the big HSI check back point. Look, this feels nasty, but I like a lot of things that I see here. We have the massive complex structure. We're coming back, about to get oversold on the daily. Well done. All right. But what else? HSI probably needs to come in and give you another test. If we really want prime oversold setup at that 61 level, we need to do some work. And that's what I'm looking for. You know, a lot of people contacted me. Obviously, I get it. A lot going on. People are, you know, we're so hyped for this just to continue, but I don't think we're really ever going to get outside of this channel. You know, we're going to stay within the constraints of that channel that we've been kind of highlighting as the tracks to price discovery. And the bigger move is still remains above that 74,000 level. So this retest, let's take a breath. Okay, if you got one, take your pulse, chill, and let's get ready. The halving's coming up in what, 4 days? Also, Bitcoin Cash and others that had to do their halving did, and they're reacting. So let's size up the opportunity. The thing I want to really focus on with this weekly chart is the fact that we have this complex formation. That's something we've talked about as we got up here, where it would set up the temporary retracement, retrenchment to get to our 50 level as a minimum. It's a complex structure. Get down to the 50. So that has to happen too. And that's on a weekly chart. Anyone watching a future screen? Listen, let me know if you're... What the heck is going on with my future screen? Looks like my futures matrix has stopped. What's going on here? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Is there a data issue? NASDAQ is, we'll get to that in a second. 17.9 was hit. Patterns all over the place. No confirmation still. We'll get to that in a minute. Our ideal setup for Bitcoin, and I think we need to start demanding more ideal setups, is to come in there and give us a pivot out. So this week, yeah, you're going to pay some price. Even the long end here, the bottom end of this channel, okay, all of that comes in maybe a scratch under 60. So if we're seeing that, we're seeing whole bunch of possibilities here. The price action is just floundering at your 61 level. Let me come back there. There you go. We know what the whole zone's telling us. There you go. So I'm watching this closely. We've got Powell any moment, I guess. He's going to do a little song and dance this afternoon. This is probably the whole area we need to consider with that hop level as low as 57.7. I know we don't want it there, but that's what we have to assess because we need to see confirmation with these patterns. And that's going to tell you more time. Here we're back to that more time talk. But hey, 4-hour chart. Couple other things to spot. We are oversold. Look, we have a lot of things coming together on this retest. Very constructive, but you probably need a few more days. I would like to see this whole week play out. Now the halving coming, you're going to see volatility. I would expect that to basically get washed out. But there's your zone. 61. Yeah, 61.5, 61.4. It depends. Again, let's go to what's like one of the most active feeds, Binance feed or Coinbase. Interesting thing on Binance, and I did notice this recently, it's not on every data feed, but there is a deep crab getting generated here. And it did the 1 and it did the 2. So technically, you retested that crab. You formed another little crab pattern here at 61.9. Still need confirmation. Give me confirmation. Yep, my matrix is just, I don't know. They must be ready. They're about to announce something here. And how about, last week we did that golden harmonic pattern session where I was saying something was up. It's not anything that I really even want to get into. I'm actually quite frustrated with news dissemination online in general these days. There is no more news, guys. I don't even know why I go look for it. But the gold story, the dollar, other things like that, we're all indicating, hey, got to keep our eye out. And we're going to get another opportunity. This is, it's just we got to let this thing let some air out of the tires. 61.8 right here, right now. We do have a T2. Look, that's encouraging. That's promising. But if we're looking at our indicators, okay, we need to get out of that zone. And even the 4-hour, this is the Binance feed. You need that to happen. I mean, at a minimum, I would still want to see, can we come down and trigger, or we're just going to hold these lows? Well, no, it's either 61 or 58. That's the general level. But the fact that it is a type 2, I do want to see confirmation. It's kind of a rule. What's going on, chat? How are you guys doing today? How's everyone holding in? We all took a little chunk, right? We all took a little hit this week. I did. It's all right. It happens. Just giving back some gains. But we'll get through. Listen, if that's the first half, and then we know what's going to come here in the next post-year halving. Think about where we were a year ago. Maybe let's get a little perspective. Let's go back a year. Daily chart. Where were we last April? Last April 15th, probably the same as this April 15th. Looking for ways to save money on taxes. That's a whole nother discussion where I could probably flex my 24 accounting credits from college and share with you maybe some tax saving strategy, namely Roth IRA among others. But hey, there's a last 1 year ago, right there. 1 year ago, Bitcoin about 28,000. We go into a 6-month hiatus until we finally break out. But look, we had patterns. And I think that's what we should be looking for. We should be looking for patterns, and we should be looking for daily yellow dots. Oh, really make it easy on ourselves. Let's stop trying to jump the gun, and let's just let it come to us. So there you go. That was a year ago, right there. Little correction back down. I think that's probably a good way to think about what this range is telling us to. We're probably in this larger range like this. Just kind of highlight it. That's your larger range. Something like that. So you consolidate within that zone. Okay. We need triggers. And we saw that, like I said, on NASDAQ, where last week, great pattern, but no confirmation. So any move was just reactive. That's what we should do. We're looking for that trigger, and that trigger should be some kind of daily dot. Now, what about the weekly? As I was mentioning, well, we had some yellow dots that preceded this little rollover up here, just completed last week. Now, we had that dot back in January where just a temporary pause, and that's always good to look for at least a minimum pause, a little pressure. At least right now, you have follow through. Again, just let some air out. The weekly, that's pretty close to getting oversold anyway, and that's how it's going to come. You're wondering, all right, Scott, give me a clue. Where should I be looking for this thing to go to? We talked about last week and prior weeks that if we got to 61, it wouldn't be a big thing. Well, now we're at 61. Seems like a big thing, but come on, can we come down a little bit more? What's going to happen is you're going to generate a counter HSI signal like you did back in September. That's what we should look for. Where this little sideways pause, in retrospect to the whole trading action since the low, becomes kind of a sideways consolidation of about 15-20%. It's not a big deal in terms of long, not a big deal on the long term, but as we're all kind of licking our wounds after the last 2 or 3 days, you feel it. You want it now. It's a natural reaction, natural expectation. Kill that thought. This is all about the whole year. Yeah, thanks, David. David is such a great contributor to as a moderator. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me take a quick second. So I've got some guys coming on in my Discord, and I'm trying to show my community a lot more love. We've got a few things prepping. And it's not like I don't consider like that huge of a following, but I've got scammers. Guys, I'm never going to ask you for money. I'm never going to take your money. There's only one place where you could even give me money, and that's on harmonictrader.com. Everything I offer is free. So if anyone ever solicits you in my name, okay, just contact me or reach out to one of the mods on the Discord. Never give anybody money. I will never ask for money. Okay? Period. That's why I do it the way we do it. Everything is free to get started, where the entire first month, that whole experience for you should be free, is free. And all the basic membership stuff is free. And I don't do any trade copying services. I don't do any like trade management stuff. So please never give money out. And if you have any questions, hit me up at harmonictrader@gmail.com or send me a note. Enough said. But it's been, 1 or 2 people fell for it. And guys, you should know too. I mean, really, double check, triple check always. But it's a shame that that's going on, but it is. A bunch of losers. That happens. Anyway, back to the story of the day. Bitcoin, 62. Let's do some work. Okay, the thing that I want to watch here on Bitcoin, 2 possibilities. Let's say this is just some kind of nominal 886 test right there. Not totally, but let's just say we're going to come back 236. That's a real minimum basic number. That's like 59 and change. What's a 382? All-time 382 is like 52,000. Okay? I would favor maybe the 236, but it all depends on how we come in on the daily. Can we register a daily oversold? Can we retest that little support level? It's like 2,000 lower. I do feel like this is coming really soon, obviously with the halving coming up, but this is what you should be looking for in the next literally 48 hours. Hit that and pivot out and start the recovery process. We've had a few of these where we've had some clear patterns, but then they did the retracement. They're just not set up yet. Appreciate that, Tuckafu. Yeah, get really quick, because I know there's new people coming in more and more. We sent out an email blast. Had a whole bunch of people to sign up on the Discord. That's great. Again, get over to Harmonic Trader, folks. Check out all the software, everything we do. Those are free trials all over the place. And then all of the resources that you need. Okay, get the books. Just download them so you've got the reference. And then hit all of the videos. There's plenty of stuff to go through. All right, and it's all free. Let's look at Ethereum. Because Ethereum is back at a point that we've talked about recently, 3,000 level. And we had, I think, a 4-hour, the 4-hour pattern down here. There you go. Well, yeah, it was a bat pattern. Now you have a crab. What's going on here? Looking like a type 2, 2884. Still another one needs confirmation. On the 4-hour chart, okay, you're going to see a lot of these. Type 1, and look, red arrow down. Let's do the return, 2884. Can we finish that once and for all? And back down? That's what I would be looking for. I would be sizing up Ethereum. You know, this is it is in getting into a better spot after that amazing run off of the last trigger. We saw it was like 2200. We were looking for that to go to like 3,000. It went to almost 4,000. On the weekly for Ethereum, okay, check this out. Another complex structure, and folks, the complex structure, I had questions on that. What is that? People saw some of the comments in the last week or two. It's an M formation. We do M and W, mostly M and W harmonic patterns, and look at M and W, the whole market M and W structure. Won't get into why, but there are, it's a lot related to Elliott wave 3, 5 wave segments. Then when you get the combination of those together, okay, they're definitely, they give you a lot of just more than just like a 3-segmented structure. 5 waves or even 7 waves, including profit targets, gives you a heck of a lot of structural differentiation. The M formation for Ethereum here on the weekly, okay, we hit the 50 level. Complex formation, first thing that it needed to do is done. HSI is hitting. So listen, we have let a lot of air out of these tires. A lot. There's a lot that we, even though it seems like a lot in terms of the price, look, you got a mild 1,000-point correction, 25%, but you're getting very close to setting up for the next continuation. Just give me a dot. And much like what we had back in October on a weekly chart, that's significant. That's almost ideal. There you go. That needs to pivot out. Okay? So that won't be official until Sunday. A lot of this pointing really in that direction to Sunday. And then we know with the halving, there's going to be a consequence. We're going to have to, we're going to have to do more work, as they say. But it's a lot better than what we've seen where, hey, at least that's not an impulsive formation. You have a lot to go on with what's happening here. Couple more that I want to highlight in particular. Let's get over to Solana, all the way back at 127. Okay, it was at 200. Look at that, 4 weeks. Just absolutely capped. There you go. It's a bat pattern. Target 2, it was also a shark. Where's the shark? It was a shark on the weekly. Oh, I had it turned off. Hold on. Sometimes I absolutely do that. Let me turn that off. Do I have it off? Where's the shark? Yeah, I do have the shark on. I'll come back to this. Most of the data feed showing a bat pattern. Okay. Not a big problem. What do you have to do with Solana? You're just going to have to be patient and let it do its thing of getting oversold. At least this one, we have a complex formation. Okay, big M formation coming out. You're at the 50. Start looking. What's the daily look like? Anything there that we could go on? Well. Look what we have here, right? Bat pattern off the top. XA level 117. Okay, that is a first stop area. What needs to happen for Solana? Run it down like that. Get down to 117. That could happen really quickly too. And then you're still going to need 2 more bullish days. This is why we do confirmation. That's why a harmonic pattern it's just a structure. It's not even an opportunity until we have that yellow dot or minimum HSI confirmation. I want to see a T2 printed down here. Could be a sizable opportunity. Imagine a T2, you know, a month ago. We said, hey, we're going to get a T2 bat within this uptrend before the halving. I think every one of us would have said, yeah, give it to me. Let's go. So that's coming in. That's one of many. And I think the other thing you have to understand, what has happened since this little rollover in the last week with our situation that occurred over the weekend, you've set up a lot of situations, patterns. They look and feel terrible at the moment because some of them got cut in half, but they're more ideal situations. It's like this. How about Filecoin? Where'd you go, Filecoin? Filecoin. So this one and ICP. Oh, let's get back to here. Filecoin was that was one that was absolutely threatening a breakout. Well, not so fast. Right back with a bat pattern. There you go. And what's happening with a lot of these is you're getting back-to-back patterns. So if we're looking at Filecoin, that's that KuCoin data feed. Yeah, it's a Binance is a better one. You're right back down into the thick of all the harmonic pattern support. 555. You have some prior patterns down there. And now you have a new pattern. Okay, give me a dot. Because it looks like this. Filecoin. The low at 546. If we could retest that, maybe today. I think something's going to happen here with what's his face talking. Flush retest. That's a big zone. And I do think this is an opportunity. Kind of the first pattern opportunity, probably, I would say since that T1, 455. Straight up. And this is only a type 1 as well, where let's not get crazy because I want to stick to the framework. Tradable. Can we check back? Needs like 2 more days and then do the type 1 reaction. That would give you a sweet little recovery segment, but that's about it. Couple more. Want to look at Binance Coin? Where'd you go? BNB. So this one has managed to hold up pretty well at 600. Looks like this, that high level HSI. Amazing. Some of these crypto did not move at all. But here's Binance Coin on the weekly that has my attention a little bit more. What's going to happen here? It's a big shark right at the 886 at 613. So that's not over, folks. And the check back from last week, little follow through. Now, I'm definitely monitoring this. Why? It's a type 1. Down to target 1. That's on the weekly. Okay, big shark pattern. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to tell us how fast this thing will retrace. But Ideal shark weekly. We will get a dot. That's the thing. That it usually takes 2 extra confirmation bars. So there you had HSI, and we checked back. Red this week and red next week to get us a dot. That's what would have to happen. And I, again, would look for just a type 1 down to 414. Kind of resolve what started last fall. Shark to 5-0. Yep. I'll go to a couple more. Couple more. Sure. How about, well, let's look at Avalanche. AVAX coming all the way back down to do the type 2 on the daily at, look at that, this crab pattern at 28. The low, 29.48. That's not over yet. So that is probably the trickiest of type 1, type 2 situations where you go to target 1, T1 to T1 dollar sign, but you manage not only to go to target 2, but after a lot of grinding, you're able to even go higher and really take it off, but can't sustain it. Come all the way back down. I call it a looping. You go all the way up like that, and then all the way back down to retest, where you inevitably get the type 2. That's 28 and change, folks, on Avalanche. I think that's where you're looking for the next opportunity. And if we go break it down on the daily, well, HSI, Amplified, these are all oversold. It's a good starting point, but we're not even going to eye in on this until we can get out of the zone. That's the other thing about confirmation. It's early. Confirmation has to happen before the larger price development. A couple more things I've discussed previously, like Axie Infinity. Look, came all the way back down. 665 is where we looked at that as our last opportunity. Went to the shark at 12. Did the target 1, type 2. Now you're butterfly zone. Back here again, 660 area. But is there confirmation? Not yet. Look, like a lot of these. Look, they got hit into the oversold. Can you come out there? That's what you want to see. So until that happens, let the price do the consolidation, because you're 678 at the moment. XA level in a flash hit it at 581. And we need to see that confirmation in this area. Great to see everybody. What's going on? I still have a few more people piling in. Yeah, we got to wait for that confirmation. Listen, that's why we do confirmation. Do you know how many times I got burned jumping in on patterns early? Like, I think of like the .com stuff when I first got into the patterns, and I wasn't even looking at relative strength there. And, I'd get into a pattern, but there was no clear bias, indicator bias. I looked at a lot of them. I looked at basically all of Wells Wilder's indicators, stochastics, RSI, ADX. RSI seemed to work, and then developed Harmonic Strength Index and Amplified from that. Amplified, this bottom indicator should be super responsive. We should see that thing turn first, okay, before the rest of it starts to really take off in earnest. Couple more. I wanted to show you guys, let's look at some of those high flyers. Like Ondo, this is one of those that, was holding itself up. Really nice, kind of big move. Ondo was a new one here on the 4-hour. Check out what happened. Okay, the shark at around 69 went to 95. just not going to continue. How do you handle something like that? I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. Type 1 to target 1, and then type 2 to target 2, but no confirmation down here. That's always a concern of mine. Like you have a really nice type 2, but there's nothing here there's no dot. Your dot was here really for that segment. So Ondo's another one where, okay, you did the reaction moves. I would look for it back, another shot at the hop where maybe you get oversold down there. Okay. We want to look for these to get oversold, at least on a 4-hour, and there's HSI. It's not there yet. Tradable, but no follow through. Let's talk about the AI stuff, because here's Ocean, Fetch, Render. What do we got? Are these opportunities or no? First of all, let's zoom out. Okay, Ocean AI, something we were back 20 cents, went to 160, now it's 80. So what do? Let's say you got stuck in that. And I'll go to my next one where I did get stuck. I've been bitching about this for weeks. And I, reluctantly sold more of it. Is this an opportunity? Daily oversold, 4-hour patterns. We have a daily oversold. Okay, 72 cents. 4-hour patterns. Anything down there? Not really fitting well with how we want to see this stuff. This is a failed Gartley. Okay, because look, beautiful pattern at your T1 right off the top. But what's the confirmation down there? Actually goes bearish in the zone. Those are warning signs. So the 4-hour had a pattern, no confirmation. Daily did get oversold, but that was back here. Okay, that's not a pretty pattern combination. That's not like what we've been seeing from the beginning of the year. I would trigger off of this daily structure, that daily HSI signal. If you're looking at Ocean, I'm not yet sizing it up is really what I'm saying with a lot of these oversold signals, but we need to see some more things happen. Now, let's talk about Fetch, because I peeled more off of this. And you guys know, reluctantly, I was really staring this in the face and assessing this big extension. What was it? 2618, depending on, I think some of them, the bigger, hold on, we had bigger data feeds. Like there. It was a 2618. And there you go. So for the last probably a month, I sat on my hands with this. After a great move, sold some around the 1618 long ago. Not a lot. I had like 70% of it. And then let that thing come all the way back and let a beautiful 13, 14x become 10x or less. Okay, is that an opportunity? Not till we get oversold. And here we are on Fetch. It has done the right things you want to see in terms of the weekly being a complex structure, get down to the 50 level. This is going to be an important, broader tool so you understand, okay, how far can these retracements go? Amplified, like the last one, got to 50, and then you started looking. This one, get to the 50, HSI, get down here, and then pivot out. But that's probably 2 or 3 weeks away. This week is going to be the week that goes in there. Trigger it this week, turn next week, and then start resumption process. In the meantime, though, okay, I sold some more. I sold some more on this little bounce around 210. And I think that's probably going to get a little bit lower on this oversold of this is going to be also something we'll see a lot of as kind of hook formation that happen on a lot of them. Go to a 1618. You know, your 1618 on fetch is like $1.50, $1.55. All right. Just be clear here. Let's line these oversold signals and wait for them. That's it. Hey, if we get a confirmation that happens at a higher level, so be it. There'll be plenty of time to react from it. But I'm going to wait for these 1618s. Couple more. Sure, we can look at CRV because that one is right back in the zone. There you go. CRV is like 48 cents. Sorry, 38 cents at this low. It's a T2. And check it out. HSI generated at 41. This hit the hop at 36.6. It's a T2. Give me a dot. Just like last time here, or even there. Give me a trigger. Give me that yellow dot. And what does that yellow dot mean? It means that you had two bullish candles. And usually that's enough of development to start to trigger to turn it around. So there is a little price action implicit in that signal that already has happened. That's why when we see a dot, it really is, you know, go time, make or break time. And you should get follow through. You don't get follow through, then you're saying, okay, it's not ready to go. Down here also, look, same patterns as looking left from before. That is relevant harmonic support. And that XA level is at 50. Smaller numbers at 45. I think if you're between 40, 45, and you get that dot, you're okay. You're in a good spot down there. It's just we're a little early with a little more time to play out here. That's the bigger picture on CRV. Few more. ICP. If you liked it 2 weeks ago, you better love it now. It was 20. Now it's 10, 11. Okay. Where's the 4 hour? Daily oversold. Checking back around 1050. Any 4 hour patterns on ICP? 4 hour patterns. Should be a bat right there. Where's the bat? I had a bat on here. We do have prior patterns at 12. That crab, I thought this was a, I'll trace it out. It was this. Okay. We do have an M shape. I don't know why it's not popping up, but you're at the swing 886 on ICP. Okay. You would have loved to have been there a month ago. Love being there now when we get confirmation. Okay. The Scott dot, that's right. That's why we designed it that way. Harmonic patterns are a process. They require, look, 30 bar minimum to form the pattern. We know that every zone usually goes through 3 to 5 bars. And then the larger turnaround process is usually 30 bars after it completes. This one, okay, no confirmation yet. On the 4 hour chart. Keep an eye on it. Sure. Really quick, go to the totals. Anybody like totals? Totals. Total 1. It's here. And we had the same patterns as Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe even a little better. This was a type 2 where 2.19 was the hop. We had confirmation finally, and we have yet another little small pattern. So total index, somewhere around 2.10, maybe as low as 205. But keep an eye on this zone because that's one of the stronger price formations that I've seen. Got several patterns there where it certainly needs to stay above 2 trillion. And then you've got this, okay, with the total index where there's HSI checking back, and that's around 220. So under 2.2 trillion, that should be an opportunity. That really should be an opportunity there if we're going to get a high level continuation. It has to hold 2.10. I will be eyeballing this every, I don't know, 3 times an hour and for the next 5 days probably. And what's up here? Well, the 886. Just shy. Let's look like this. Okay, almost perfect. More importantly, you have a yellow dot up here. Let's let some air out of the tires. 236 is already hit. That's 2.25. The bigger move, the 382 move, down at like 1.95, something like that. That's your maximum downside. So if you want to know that this whole cycle, what's the maximum correction, has to be a 382. And you get trend continuation from what started back in 2023. Okay, that's where you are. That's what you should be sizing up. You come back, you can retest that uptrend, fine. Can you do something like this possibly? Again, total index. Is this the B point of something larger? B point, like almost perfect 886. Ideal for the deep crab, 382. Like there, and then 1618. That could work. Regardless, it's about the dot. Give me confirmation. Okay? Really easy to get frustrated with patterns. Hence, fed up with harmonic patterns if you don't have confirmation. It's a common mistake I think a lot of people make where they assume everything is implied in the price structure unto itself. No, you have to look at things like RSI, HSI, some kind of relative measure. That's what harmonic strength is. That's what amplified is as well. Calculated differently, obviously, but they both are showing that degree of how far any market can move. And so be aware that you are oversold. That's a lot of air that came out of the tires here on the total index without it moving. That's probably your most positive takeaway. Combine that with an amplified reading. This is amplified RSI. That, hey, that's an M formation. That tells me this is a temporary correction. But how far? Go to the 50. Get down there to the 50 level. This could be, another week to do so. But those are the indicator targets. That's kind of the degree to which I would be looking for this retracement in terms of the relative value. In terms of price, it's around 2, maybe 210. It's somewhere in this area to do that kind of retracement. Let's segue into the stocks and let's look at MicroStrategy. Same type of deal where you got a yellow dot. Where's the daily? There you go. Here it is. HSI did trigger a few days ago, but what's the problem? Amplified has not turned up on MicroStrategy on the daily. You're very close. So you're looking for this final flush phase. If it's MicroStrategy, if it's Coinbase, it's like this. Now hitting oversold on Coinbase. Okay. If we're looking at our last reading, there you go. There's that retest of the HSI signal from March. That was around 229. I need to see, this is a perfect example of needing 2 green days. So you're not even going to touch this until there's a check back. Today's day 1. We need a green candle and a green candle. So we'll come back on Thursday and look at that. Still needs at least 2 days. Now, those 2 bars could happen lower, but in terms of time, you're 2 green bars away. Ideally, HSI to come down. One more sell. One more flush. And get oversold. As this is oversold literally today hitting. And we can go deeper than that, but you get the picture, okay? We've done a lot of the move. We've done a lot of the letting out of the air. Now, let's hit it, pivot out, and get back on with things next week. It's going to be bumpy, folks. A lot of people are uncertainty. And this dog and pony show that happened over the weekend just adds more to it. I don't think people really should be surprised, though, that this is going to be kind of an eventful year. A lot of shenanigans going on that are going to, I think, sway the narrative. We just want to position ourselves for things like this. Okay? Get oversold daily. What about 4 hour? Any 4 hour patterns here? Where's the 4? No. 4 hours oversold. So no 4 hour pattern, no daily oversold triggered. We got to step in and be a little more patient with it all. What's going on? You're bullish for October, BG says. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think this is the deal. Okay? When we look at a lot of this, and this is this complex formation. I've talked about this in the last month. Just identifying this type of formation in the amplified reading sets up where it's a reactive retracement. Think of it that way. Get down to the 50, okay, and start looking for things like this to happen. All of that is still lower. And, you know, Coinbase has got this really obscure bat pattern that did trigger. I guess this box is related. I drew that previously. Up here to the dot around 270. You're now 210. Okay, just let that thing come in. We'll get another opportunity on it. You got to let that thing trigger the ideal oversold combination. Let's get to the Qs. Evan, what is core? I don't know. You've been saying that all chat. What is core? I don't know what core is. Is that a new crypto? Let's talk about the Qs, folks. So we have big numbers at 445, and we're looking at a pause. We've said this for a while. This is a pause in terms of price action. We recently, generated that yellow dot last month. That's related to that HSI signal there. Now, any kind of a pause will fit within this range and use this pattern zone for support and resistance going into the summer. Obviously, we're not blasting off to blow this out. If anything, it's firming up. We are, think of it this way, we're here We hit the zone back in January. And now confirmation was almost 2 months later. 445, really clear resistance. What's the immediate support? 424. Like, even if we're going to bounce in this zone, 424, pretty much an easy retracement. The big deal, though, and this is what to look for come Friday, are we going to get a 3-bar breakdown? Meaning 1, 2, 3. So any close under last week's low, under 436, would be a 3-bar breakdown. That's a little bit more significant than what we've seen. It hasn't triggered yet, but that's what I'll look for come Friday. If that happens, then I would say, yeah, we have some more work to do within the zone. Not a lot. Now, and that's the other thing. Look, there's obvious levels down here. Look at that prior gap at 424. Also look, for as scary as everything has been, okay, we haven't given up a lot. Maybe this is a breakdown. Like maybe yesterday was something larger to have more of a pause. But for me, I'm looking for this thing to generate another oversold trigger at a high level. Where'd you go? Let me come back to this. Here you go. Why? It's like this. We've been riding that train for a while. Really since October, that's been the channel, the regression channel. Is this really a trend breakdown? Okay, that's the question you ask. Are we failing this channel right here at 430? Okay, is there anything down here? Not yet. Not on the daily chart. Okay, it seems, that's the thing. It seems a lot worse than it really is in terms of percentage wise. I think it's just the last 6 months have been so powerful. Everyone wants to see that thing just continue to rock, but we got to pay for some real estate. Pay for the real estate here in terms of time and price. And everyone that look 424, 425, fill that gap within the channel. Makes sense. Haven't registered anything daily time frame, but look, here's the 4-hour. And let's go to the NASDAQ futures. NQ futures. Remember we had the bat pattern. We had a bat pattern up here around 18,060. That's become a larger structure. That's why this is now redrawing it. Not really repaint. It is probably the 886 swing here going back from March. That's the other thing we really identified. That's what this is. It's a 1 month 886. Seems like the end of the world, but no. And that 1 month 886 is like 17,930. This morning, so here's the big situation, the big development on the 4-hour. We finally have confirmation. Right there, HSI. Right around 17, was that 17,790 is the low? No check back, no dot. Not ideal yet. It's literally, we just entered into that candle, okay, on the open today. And it's only a type 1. So regardless of what happens, maybe in the next month, this is what your focus should be for the next week. Type 1 up to target 1, and then we'll deal with the rest of it. So you're down here at 17.9. Okay, 18,173. Can we get that recovery bounce now off of those lows? And 17.9 was something that I had mentioned in a tweet. It was a little while ago. Yeah, I got to fix that too. So 17.9's the big number. HSI this morning on the 4-hour, you have a pattern. What about daily oversold? Anything there? Nothing there. Nothing there. So remember, the combination 4-hour patterns, daily oversold, doesn't fit the bill just yet. Would need to get down. You'd have to come down a lot lower on HSI for the futures. Like this. Keep an eye on that. Lot to look at. Now, this is a big chart to consider. Let's look at the weekly. Okay. I want to have a serious talk about these sharks. There was a lot of them. And we're up here. Beautiful all-time shark right at the hop level. The hop is harmonic optimal price. Now, this has been kind of I wouldn't say a new discovery, but it certainly has helped our understanding of pattern zones in the last many years. It's an overspill level, if you will. Why? Because we know that patterns aren't, it's not just about the one price or the one level. It's about the zone concept. And you have, or you have this. So we were looking at two areas off of the shark. All-time 886, which happened last summer, and we were right on top of that. Okay? We were really looking for type 1 reaction down to 13,825. That would have been shark to 5.0. But we let a lot of air out of the tires. Start thinking it that way. Okay? We're, beautiful run up. Pressure, a lot of buying pressure. Can't get through the 886. Okay, let's create a step. Let's let some air out. And you get an oversold HSI trigger down here. That's what we're looking for again. In this instance, let me come back. Here you go. So we have another amplifieds coming down to the 50. And check out where HSI is. Getting down there. We're getting close, folks. You're getting close at a high level. What you want to see is a daily arrow pop up. We'll get an arrow somewhere like that. Let me blow this up. It's going to be kind of in this area, I think 17,462. You retest that 113 level, just consolidate in the zone. And then give me a high level reading. Not kind of, exactly like we had there back in August. Still took probably another 2 months before we turned around. So we know we're early. And we know that this shark pattern is going to have to be dealt with for a little while. I wouldn't say 30 weeks, but I would say till the next HSI signal, to be safe, to be sure. Just got to be patient with this. A couple more. Let's go to some of those techs, like NVIDIA. There's the champ. What's up there? Weekly HSI. Daily, though, is like this. Daily HSI triggered. You let a lot of air out of the tires right now. Can we get going? It has to be, and this is a leader. We don't see this in too many tech just yet, but I want to see NVIDIA. It has to make a push like today, tomorrow, by Thursday. It'll be clear. We need to see some green candles now on NVIDIA. Absolutely. The other part to this is that NVIDIA is a complex. Look, it goes back from there, but you do have that whole reading up here, complex, went to the 50 now. Okay, can we come back in return? This reminds me a lot, and I mean a lot, of what we saw back at the 440 level and also the 300 level. We have dots. We have HSI. The trend is still up. Okay, you need to see 2 days. 2 days of development. Someone wants to talk about Tesla. I'm willing to talk about Tesla. Okay, why? Well, we had that Gartley forever at 183. What happened? And another really great example of why we're following, and we want to respect HSI in particular. There you go. So back here in early February, we had 180. I was taking shots here at 183, especially with the dot. It was a really nice move to 200, 205. I was looking for 222 and we didn't get it. And actually I got stopped out on that flush down day. And we're back in that zone. Ugly price action. Look, there's the second dot. If I was to see this thing, any pattern, 5-minute or otherwise, great pattern, little reaction. It's kind of a dud. I mean, this really should have got going. And then you have a counter HSI signal. Looks like this, where you went overbought really fast. Usually that means more time and all the way back down. Now, here's the deal with Tesla. I said it's either like 165, 170, or it's more like 145, or even come all the way back on your weekly. Weekly, it's shaping up for a type 2. Weekly, 127.88. Look, that would be the perfect bat pattern, type 2. Okay, I'm not, the short of it, not doing anything yet with Tesla. Okay, long of it, I need to see some price action turn around. I think with the hop level at 145, you're 156 at the moment. That still has to get hit. And if you're going to go that far, this is the best scenario for Tesla. Type 1, bang, and then 2. The shot at 183 or so, that exhausted itself within the first month. After, hitting that a month later, just wasn't going to happen. So patience on that. And then that brings me to some of the stronger ones like Meta. Probably the strongest for now. But up here around 500, you are hitting, look, we have a dot up here. We are 5-6 weeks up here, kind of, I wouldn't say it's necessarily stalling out. It's been fairly impressive, but show me what's going on. Daily oversold, not happening yet. Any 4-hour patterns? 4-hour oversold, but not a heck of a lot to go on. All right, it's super strong. Meta's been one of the best performing tech stocks of them all, especially in the last 2 years. But nothing to really trigger off of other than letting this thing come in a little bit more than it has. A couple more. Where is Amazon? Amazon's another one. So Amazon's up here on the weekly. It's a shark right there. Alternate bat. No, that's a shark too. It's showing us an alternate bat because you got this. Because the alternate bat is the bigger of the two structures. There you go. Let's go shark. Take off the alternate bat. Hold on. Sorry. Maybe. I had a shark up there. Regardless, look. Think of this like Bitcoin. Is it blast? It's at the all-time highs. It came up. You teased it. Is it blasting through? No. Do we have a dot? What else is up here? A couple speed bumps for sure. So I would not be surprised to see Amazon come back and look, give me some kind of oversold reading. HSI is not there yet. I would like to see something like what happened in January. Until then, let it do its thing. It's, it's a beautiful climb grinding higher, but for us to get an entry, yeah, we need to be really patient on this. Nothing there. In fact, look, 4-hour deep crab. So if you're looking for patterns, it's like that. Even on the 4-hour, what's the 4-hour pattern? Always great to ask yourself, 4-hour pattern, daily oversold, or what's the daily situation? There's a 4-hour deep crab at 189. Daily, no, there's the 4-hour, but the daily, no, nothing yet. Let's look at Netflix. Now this one has my attention, and I brought this up a while ago, and with everything running so hard, this was overshooting its big zones, and so now I'm going to come back to it. There's the weekly. What's up here? Deep crab. 624 is the hop level. This is fairly significant. Right there, 624, you tell me. 624.78 on Netflix. Now, confirmation, not yet, nothing up there, but we do have this complex structure. So, and it's come out of the zone literally with this week's action. You need to see this. Come down, bang, Netflix to the 50 level. Just don't be surprised if you see this stuff roll over like this to finish off the complex formation. And if you wanted to buy it, I would say, where's your signal? What's the reason? Because you don't even have an oversold daily or weekly. Here's daily. There you go. Nothing there yet. Really nothing there. I would be more inclined to say, okay, at this point, since we hit that level, what are we doing 30 bars to the right? Starting to stall out. Yeah, there's the pattern on the daily, a little bit higher, but I would go off the weekly with this. So we have big things here. From the harmonic pattern perspective, I need confirmation on that weekly. Okay, but the fact this thing is, starting to slow up, it's certainly not blasting through. We haven't done a blast through breakout move, and it's not going to take much, maybe a 1 week of taking out a 3-bar range. That's for Netflix under 600, to close under 600 should get this back down at least to your trend line. Think of it this way. Take a good look here. Regression channel. Where's my regression channel? Oh, come on. There it is. Like this. Those are the train tracks. You're on the upper side of that track. And it's not able to get through. So even a median line pullback, that's what I'm talking about here. A pause, a retrenchment, retracement. We've allowed enough time for this kind of thing. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, all right, it's been strong. Let's give it more time. 624.78. Put that in your brain for Netflix. Let's get a couple more here. Sure, Ivan, what's going on, Ivan? DXY. The dollar, listen, last Tuesday when we talked about gold and dollar and rates, and then the market did its thing, fulfilling it. You're a bit closer now. There's dollar index on the weekly. Okay. Market started in October when the dollar sold off, but you got some oversold readings at a high level. And dare I say, this type of thing, this type of BAM, bat action magnet move, is trying to develop. And that would be what I'm looking for on this next test. So dollar index, look, you get above 107, 107 and change. That's where then things could affect the larger market. Go back, retest the all-time high like 112. Again, that would have consequences for Bitcoin, crypto in general. That's why this is so critical. You are overbought here. So I'm not just saying that's a foregone conclusion. At weekly levels are overbought. So you've come a fair amount in terms of the indicator. There's daily. Looks like this. Daily overbought too. Keep an eye on it. We had this crab pattern on the daily. That was the other thing I think we talked about at 102.44. And we're at target 2. You would need to see HSI roll out. So just stand back and let that do its thing. Dollar needs to roll over to end that move, to end, what's it links right up with the March lows. The market, the dollar went up, market started rolling over right off of these signals. And you're going to need something to do that again. I'm looking here on amplified. That has to come down. 2-3 days away. This is all 2-3 days away. Okay, but in the meantime, it's still up. Go with it. Couple more. Dollar yen. Let's look. I haven't looked at that in a long time. Probably good to take a peek. Dollar, yen, here you go. How come that's not right? What am I doing here? Should be USD. JPY. Okay, wow, 154. Yeah, I would say so, guys. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. 155, 155.43. It's a perfect type 2 bat. Here you go. Remarkable. The 1, and then look, it hit there, did a 1 and 2 again. So what needs to happen? So this is what dollar yen. You're up here 154, 155. That has to be it. That has to start rolling over really soon. You've 2 of 2. Type 2 off of that big pattern. Okay, coming back here, and you're retesting that smaller structure. What about weekly? Poof. Look at that. 155.43. So let's make a run to the hop now, and we're going to see, is that going to stop it? It's a perfect type 2 dollar yen. What about monthly? Get a little perspective on the monthly. That's a strong chart on the monthly, folks. Come on back here and get some. There you go. Don't know why that doesn't. That should go back to the 80s. Let me see if I can get an even longer term data feed. Maybe ICE. There you go. Intercontinental Exchange data. So there's the long-term monthly chart. And this is something I've known about for a very long time. The monthly crab pattern on the dollar yen, okay, made an absolute low at 79 right at the financial crisis. And this was what, 3 decade bear market. What are the obvious targets on the monthly? So think of it this way. We're coming up on the weekly, daily of 155. Let's say that blows through. Then you've got something much bigger happening at 168 to finish the type 1 like that off of the monthly pattern. And that's a valid consideration. Absolutely. That is what we should look for at above 156. So we're going to know. We're going to know if something larger is developing here now with this breakout. Daily, what's the daily say? Daily, weekly, 155. And a good proxy for the US dollar. I mean, not just dollar index, but dollar yen will tell us a great deal of this whole situation. You break out this 155 level, then other things are going to probably continue, like 2-year yields. Again, we talked about this last week, and now it just seems to be a lot more relevant with everything going on. Oh, come on, where's the 2-year? There's the 10-year, there's 2-year. They're rallying above 5%. That's why. A whole lot going on, though. Bat pattern. Another shark. Let me clean this up. So we're going to know. We're going to take out the hop at 530 on the 2-year yield. That's where problems will arise, like this. I remember saying that when we looked at this. We had the bat pattern. I mean, there was a lot of things here at 5% on the first test. We came down. We got a pattern. Last week we covered that. Now we're looking for the full retest, and I think that's close to 530. Certainly retest the prior highs. That's what's going on here. And all the stuff that they're telling you, inflation subsiding, it's not in the charts. Not here. Is this going to become something bigger? I would say above those numbers. Not there yet, but we're really looking like in the next week. US 10-year. Just get a quick, there's the 10-year. Same deal. 468 at the moment. Where's our weekly? This is what we were looking at on the weekly. High level continuation. I expect this to come back at least the 886. You're talking about making a run to 5% on the 10-year. That could be a game changer. A lot of this just triggered really 2 weeks ago with this breakout here. But the monthly chart, there you go. This too. Look at the long-term pattern dynamics. We at the low, I talked about that last week. At the low was a deep crab. Now, to get perspective on, go back history. In the early 80s, it was 14%. The way I would be thinking of this is all time. Where's the 382 come in? Because there's the 236 was 4%. All-time 382, that's why my line's there. Yep. It's like 6 and change, 615. It's going to be quite a week, kids. Quite a week. This stuff usually moves like a snail. That's the other thing to consider, that rates, especially this century, have been a dead market until 2020, 2021. That low. Are we going to break out here and then make at least a 382 all time? We'll know by next week. I'm not, it's not what we want to see, but we have to respond to what this development is, and it's not going to take much for that to crack above 5%. In the meantime, that will bring a weight on the market. We know we're doing a pause right now. Is it going to be more than a pause? That's my thought. Is it a retrace or is it a reset? What's up, Matthew? Given the SPX 113 Shark, do I agree with the 113 Shark on the monthly for Bitcoin? Yeah, anything we're looking at right now is reactive retracement. Think of it that way. It's not, we're not talking end all be all. Okay, but we're looking for more of a pause. If it's the QQQ at 445 to go to 425, so be it. Look, S&P 500 looks like this. Didn't even talk about the SPY or S&P. Here you go. Monthly HSI trying to trigger right there. Trying to come out. Looks like no matter what, we will come out on the monthly HSI now, this month, April, with 2 weeks to go. The daily chart, though, okay, there's a trend channel right here, 504, whereas the weekly is this. So what's going on with our 1618 scenario? Are we getting to the 1618 at 560? Definitely not a straight shot. Much like what we saw here, and then we got a HSI signal on weekly, we should be looking for that to come down. Again, give us HSI. So we see the same thing across the board. You're very close to triggering this, but it's not there yet. It's probably a week or two away, and that means April's going to have to, you're going to be working for this all April. So I'm looking at a lot of these different markets where that run for up into the first quarter, that's your peak. I mentioned that last week too, where really common to put in a first quarter high, retrace it going into tax day. But what are the minimum targets? Like a 236 would be 494, 495. What's a 382? 382, 475. I think people would think that's the end of the world, but it would be another step in the process. That's it. So this pause, it's got a couple things that I want to respect. I really want to see what happens Friday. It's not even officially, let me blow this up. So what's the big individual price formation typically we see is a price bar that reverses the prior 3 bars, weekly, daily, 60-minute. And you want to see it be decisive. There's your, right there. That was the 3-bar range. You barely broke it. Well, this week, okay, you set it free. That means you could probably take a little bit more time. Under 500, sure. More like 480, 475. Again, it's not going to change the long-term objective of a 1618. It's going to develop into another step. The pause will become a step that will probably cost you 2 months of time, maybe a little bit more. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Really, it started last week. It started over the weekend. VIX, Carthago, you guys want to look at VIX too? Okay, we can do that. Although the VIX is just not, it's not like it used to be. And the VIX was overdone, to the downside here. What was it, as low as 12? I don't think it's really a value in terms of price confirmation or defining an opportunity, unless you're going to trade it specifically with some kind of VIX ETF or what have you. But I'm not really, VIX does not concern me as much as the rates do or the dollar story. And you're making some serious headway. You're testing a lot of different levels at the moment. So VIX, I'll keep an eye on that. The VIX would be helpful if we got to the retracement levels and that spiked up, to 28 or 30, something like that. We do need to look at gold with everything that's happened, gold and crude oil, before getting out of here. 2404, we have a dot. I would have thought that would have been up like 300 with all the news. But the thing we talked about last week was saying something is up. There's a huge reason why you're seeing such dramatic buying breakout behavior, which gold is. And I mentioned this where gold doesn't normally do these kind of moves. Period. It's once a decade. That's a once a decade breakout. That's a once a decade breakout. Like you go back here, the late 2000s. It's that kind of a thing. So gold up here at 2,400. Okay, nothing big. I think. Let's go even longer term and just. It's still about this 1618. All time. 1618 there on gold futures. It's right there. It's 2420 is the 1618. So you're hitting that this month. This is going to end up being a really pivotal month. Tell me what happens in May. Any confirmation on that? Anything close to being overbought? Not yet. Gold has a little ways to go. It needs to go up, hit the inflection, and roll out. But super strong chart. I would be inclined to see gold do something like this. Finish in the next month. Go to 24 or 2,500. Come back down and then launch again. I do think we're getting close here. You're probably 3/4 of the way through this segmented move. 2,500. I think it's an easy target. 2,480, I think, was the number we talked about before. So you have my attention, gold. Finally, crude oil. Probably one of the better situations that seem like, why would we look at crude oil? This is when crypto was popping, but okay, here's where we're at. Back-to-back patterns. We've gone from a bat to a shark. What does that mean? It's pattern to pattern. It's things acting harmonically. That we have a couple of yellow dots. Look, crude oil did not blast off on what happened recently. So you could see this thing pull back. Go shark to 5.0. You're at 87. Can you come back to 77? Or at least generate an oversold reading? That's what you're looking for. Don't chase that one. Don't chase these commodity markets. I know some of them, and I probably should look at things. I never look at things like orange juice or, any of the soft commodities. But they've been, coffee exploded recently. There's a lot going on there. At least for crude oil, I've seen enough at that level, at the 87 level. Probably it for now. At least give us a pullback. At least get this happening on crude oil. Can we get the next oversold reading there and then resume it? 107 still is target 2. 107 off of this bat, weekly bat, by the way. There you go. That looks a lot tamer, crude oil, but 107.42. That's our long-term objective off of the bat pattern still. Nothing's triggered yet. A lot going on. I mean, it's not easy to separate great expectations from technical harmonic realities. And we always want to give any trigger, any test, several bars. If that's a weekly and it takes a month or 2 months, 4 to 8 bars, that's fairly common. I mean, even down here at $70 at the beginning of the year, that took 2 months before it got out of the hole. I think we're looking at a lot of these phenomenon in the same way, except for the fact that they're bearish signals. We're 6-8 weeks into a lot of them, and they're starting to roll. So expect the retrace. For now, longer term stuff, is still, we're still following all of that. But I want to see a daily trigger. I want to see in this retrenchment, retracement, if you will. Let's go back to NASDAQ futures really quick here. Yeah, we're rolling over again. Look, 17,875. The daily, nothing there. 4 hour, that was the pattern all along. Look, I'll leave you guys with this. The 4 hour is oversold. We have some formations here. This is the first thing off of the recent highs that we've had with confirmation that I'll start looking at, but I still want to dot. And that means you're probably 2-3 bars at a minimum before that even triggers. By Thursday, we'll come back in here and we're going to see whether or not that's resolved. I wouldn't be surprised. Come back down today or tomorrow, go back to 17,790 to retest that. So this whole zone is still valid. It's not turning just yet. We're still early in this process. It's like that. Under 17.7, okay, then we're going to have to talk. And we'll save that for Thursday. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Definitely, we'll be back on Thursday. We'll do a giveaway Thursday. I've got a news event, a couple of announcements Thursday. We'll give away a couple books too. Thanks so much. Hang in there, folks. Wait for the confirmation, and we'll see you back on Thursday. Go get them.